was the most simple, hydrating, nourishing food that you could give to your body after an illness. So gelatin is a really powerful supplement or food that you can add into your diet.
So it's a really good thing, maybe for healing as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the chicken soup for the soul. That's where that came from, because chicken soup is packed with good nutrition. It will heal your body from the inside out.
Good old Jack Canfield. That's what that reminds me. Good old Jack.
Absolutely. Vitamin A and vitamin D are both really good. They're anti-inflammatory. So I take a product called fermented cod liver oil.
Oh, fermented. Okay.
Yeah, it's Green Pastures is the brand. I think they're the only brand in the world that makes fermented cod liver oil. It's giving you vitamin A, it's giving you vitamin D, it's giving you vitamin K. All of those are anti-inflammatory, and you want that for your pelvic floor, because a lot of us have tension in our pelvic floor. Our muscles are tight, and I'll go into that in a bit more detail later. But the fermented cod liver oil is going to be a really good thing. It's going to prevent muscle wasting. The vitamin A is good for an overactive bladder, which a lot of women can actually suffer from. Vitamin C helps boost collagen production, so we're back to the collagen again. Oat straw infusion. So you can get oat straw as a tea, and you make it as an infusion, which means you take 30 grams of oat straw and you put it in a 1 litre jar and pour boiling water over it and leave it sitting for 4 to 8 hours. What that's going to do is that extracts all the minerals out of the oat straw, and oat straw will ease vaginal dryness, which a lot of women suffer from once they go through menopause or getting close to that age.
Yeah.
It also improves circulation and makes the blood vessels more elastic and eases bladder spasms. Again, coming back to the overactive bladder thing.
So this is a bit like making oat milk, but this is with oat straw. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, it's oat straw infusion. It's a really, really awesome thing to have included into your diet. Nettle infusions are another one. Stinging nettle. You can again make that an infusion of that, 30 grams of the dried herb in a jar with 1 litre of boiling water, leave it to sit for 4 to 8 hours, and that's going to hydrate your vaginal tissues.
Okay, interesting. That's something for me when I return to the UK, then I can go and be picking handfuls of nettles. Wow.
Absolutely, yeah. So those things, magnesium's another one. Magnesium is a muscle relaxant, and as I mentioned, a lot of us have tense pelvic floor muscles, so we want the magnesium to help us to relax those muscles. And by relaxing those muscles, you start increasing the sensation, you start being able to orgasm easier. It just does a myriad of different things for our well-being.
Okay, wow, what a good. I've written all those down actually, because that's a very very interesting collection of things that I wouldn't have thought of before. I had no idea about the gelatin. I think the bone broth is that's easy for me to incorporate. I mean, all these things, we can get hold of them all. Very, very interesting. And the more we can help ourselves, we can feed ourselves the right things, the better we're going to feel, aren't we? So, wow, thank you for that, Caitlin. That's been a real eye-opener, because, I didn't know any of those things. So I'm sure all of our listeners out there are going to have picked up something from that you can actually start doing, straight away. And we never know what's going to, everybody's unique, but it's all worth a try. Why not?
Absolutely.
Connect to yourself better, and it could lead to a better sex life, better you feeling better within yourself.
Yes, and that's the big thing.
Yeah, getting in touch with that femininity. Fantastic. Great. So let's go. As we're moving on, I just touched on there a bit about sex for a moment. How does having a healthy pelvic floor, how is that going to be better how's that going to create a happier marriage?
Right. Okay. So the big thing here is that if we are not comfortable talking about our genitals for a start, then we get kind of put off sex. We get put off the idea of somebody touching our genitals or wanting to do anything of a sexual nature. We kind of are holding ourselves back. We're not in the moment. We're kind of worrying about all sorts of other things. We're too much in our head. So once we get back in touch with our sexuality, once we get back in touch with ourselves, those kinds of issues fall away for a start. Talking about, you know in the work that you do, that communication is the biggest thing in a relationship. If you can talk to your partner about what's going on for you with your genitals, if you are having issues with dryness or if you're having pain, if you can talk to your partner about that, that's going to mean that you're going to have a better sex life for a start.
Okay, so talking is the number one key.
Talking is always the number one key. And it can be uncomfortable when you first start, but your partner loves you and they're going to want you to be happy, so they will you can both get past that discomfort and listen to what's going on. Having a stronger, more supple pelvic floor, and I do want to emphasize supple. What we need is suppleness and dexterity in our pelvic floor. We don't need our muscles to be tight. We need to be supple and dexterous. What that does for us is it increases the sensitivity, it increases the chance of orgasm, and it makes the whole thing feel more pleasurable for us. But at the same time, it also makes it more pleasurable for our partner. And that's ultimately what we want. We want to be having a good time and we want them to be having a good time. So having a supple, dexterous pelvic floor will definitely start moving that forward for both parties.
Right, okay. So again, that comes really back to the self-love, if you like, from taking care of ourselves first.
Yes.
And creating that for us, then we're going to create a better relationship also for our partner. Yes. Because they get a lot of pleasure from the fact that we're getting the pleasure, don't they? So
exactly, and we tend to forget that. I get a bit annoyed when I look at any of these glossy women's magazines, and they're always talking about 10 ways to please him in bed, or 6 positions that will drive him wild. We actually need to bring it back and focus on ourselves and what's the positions that we like. What are we doing to make us feel more sexy or more vibrant? And that's the thing. If we are feeling sexy and vibrant and in the moment, we're going to have a better time, and then our partner's going to have a better time. It's really, it's the woman that struggle with having orgasm. It's the woman that feel uncomfortable or not enjoying the moment because they're worried about whether their thighs are jiggling or whether, parts of them are too fat. But if you can let that go and just be present in the moment, you're going to have a much better time, and it's going to be much better for both of you.
Yeah, no, it totally is. And I think people get lost in that, don't they, that they've got to be satisfying and pleasing them, but actually their satisfaction comes from the fact that you are enjoying it and comfortable, and that is if you like, that is their turn on. But we get, so many absolutely. Women get wrapped up in, as you say, what do I look like? What does he think to this? What is it, with what's going on there? But actually, we've lost, as you say, we've totally become disconnected, really, from the whole thing. I've got to what we're trying to do.
I've got beautiful woman, sexy woman, in their 40s and 50s, and they will not get undressed. They will not be naked in front of their partner.
Isn't that such a shame?
That just makes me sad. It just makes me sad. And it's like, oh no, I couldn't take my clothes off. And it's like, but that's being open and honest with your partner. And you should be that able to be that comfortable. If you can't be that with your partner, who can you be that with? So it really does come back to loving yourself and feeling good about you, so that you can be fully present in the moment and not up in your head. This is what I was saying before about coming back into your body. Using the Yoni egg and doing the Yoni egg practice brings you back to connecting with your body. And so you're not in your head telling yourself, oh, is he looking at my thighs? Is he noticing the cellulite? Is this bit jiggling? Have I done this for the kids? Have I done that? Did I remember to do the milk or whatever? Stories are going on in our head. We don't have that because we're back present in our body and the sensations that are going on in our body. And that's really where we need to be when we're having a sexual experience, is present in the room.
Yeah, as you say, not telling stories with your mind wandering off. You do not need to have that logical mind kicking in there and making decisions, and that is not the part of the mind that we need to be active. And you just touched on the Yoni egg there, which I'm, I have to admit, I'm totally ignorant to this, Caitlin. And it's amazing because I have mentioned this to a couple of my friends since we had a chat a couple of weeks ago, and they knew all about this. And I thought, wow, how do I not know about this? Where have I been hiding? So
it's all right. Yep, you're not alone. I still get the blank stares when I talk about what I do, or talk about Yoni eggs. You're not alone. There's a lot of people who have no knowledge of them whatsoever. So it's actually crazy because they have been around for thousands of years.
Wow.
The Chinese emperors used to give them to their concubines to keep them youthful and to keep them sexually potent, for want of a better word. So a Yoni egg is a crystal egg, and it does matter what kind of crystal. You can't just go into the crystal shop and buy any egg-shaped crystal, because there are specific crystals that you use. It has to be a Mohs hardness of 5 or above. So to put that in perspective, diamond is a 10 on the Mohs hardness scale. So you don't want a soft crystal like selenite, for instance, and you can see selenite eggs on the market.
Right. Okay.
Selenite is too porous. You want it, and it doesn't have a high enough Mohs hardness scale. So I use rose quartz eggs because they are the stone of self-love, and self-love is what I'm all about, so I go for the self-love stone.
Okay.
Originally they used jade egg, and that's because the Chinese are absolutely mad for jade. They would use jade for everything. They see jade as good luck and prosperity and all those kinds of things. So in reality, rose quartz is a harder stone than jade. Jade is a 6, and I think rose quartz is a 7 on the Mohs hardness scale. So it's an egg. They come in several sizes, and you medium. So there's large, medium, and small. You generally would start at the larger size and work your way down, but I just sell the medium egg because that's going to be the egg for the average woman. It doesn't matter whether you've had vaginal births or cesarean births, you still need to maintain your pelvic floor. It doesn't matter if you've had a hysterectomy, you can still use a Yoni egg. I just advise that you string the egg for your own peace of mind that it's not going to go wandering off. If you've had
interesting. I had a hysterectomy I had a hysterectomy when I was 40, and I'm now 52. I'm 53 in April. Okay.
Have you had... I shouldn't ask you that. Sorry, not on air.
I kept my ovaries. I don't know what the question was. We can talk about it afterwards.
What can happen when the hysterectomy, when the uterus is removed, is that what happens is that the bladder and the bowel then have got space and they can move around. And so then they can start